Okay, we got Cali Pack and Trey. What do you guys think about this Rise of Achilles event? What do you know about it? What do you think about it? Any thoughts on it? Are you just looking for me to tell you more and more about it?
Yeah, well, I know that Achilles was Raj's nickname, so I guess it's related to pickup.
That's true. How do you feel about your pickup?
My pickup, I get around. Let's just say that.
You get
I get
around,
around.
let's just say that. Yeah, man. It's from Jamaica. I was Jamaica in the house and player.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but I mean, I read the mystery method a couple of years ago, about 2015, 2016, and I used to apply when I was in college. I used to go around the campus applying what I learned. Um, but I know definitely it's not near nothing. Definitely not nothing near what AZD can do. Definitely not. So that's, as I said, that's my aim to actually learn what he knows by coming closer.
Yeah. What would you do with your life? You think you would just get prettier women? You want multiple women? Like, what are your goals?
Well, yeah, for sure, definitely. Pretty woman. I've been more intentional with relationships. Um, but more clear on what I want from relationships, and have the ability to get it in a harmonious way. So yeah, that'll be my goal.
In a harmonious way, can you say that a little bit more?
Yeah, so harmonious way meaning, well, just a matter of both parties in a relationship being mutually satisfied
Yeah.
or
Yeah, so
getting mutual
satisfying,
benefit.
fulfilling relationships.
Right.
Right on. And so you do pick up now and you get around, but like how's it going with those?
Well, hits and misses, a lot of flakes for sure. Um,
You
but
said flakes? You say you have flakes?
yeah, flakes, right.
Okay, so that's
Um,
early. Usually flaking is like early in the courtship
right,
to pick up or whatever, right?
right.
Do you have any relationships now?
Well, no relationships.
Do you want to be married?
Married, I wouldn't say married. No, not legal marriage, but
Okay.
marriage of the heart for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Do you want kids now?
Um, no, I'm kind of not now. Definitely not now. I'm kind of on the fence about it right now, but definitely not now.
Hmm. Do you want Jamaican women or do you care?
That doesn't matter to me.
Hmm. Um, cool. Hmm. Hmm. So what would you say, what would be next for you in your game? Like, what do you think is where would be somewhere that you would improve, or what's a sticking point that it might be said that way?
Um, I'd say because attraction for me, I think I build that really quickly. It's just a matter of maybe comfort or I would say more in comfort. Comfort is building comfort with the girl and trust and so forth. More getting her out, bouncing her from place to place.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there needs work.
Mm. No, do you have a going out schedule? Like, do you have any, or do you regularly, like, is it part of your schedule do you have social venues that you go to, or is it just you live and work and as you pass people in the street kind of thing?
Right, yeah, more so as how I live because where I work right now, there are a lot of girls there because I work at a call center. So
Uh-huh.
there are a lot of girls there. So, in the locker room, lunchtime, if I go to like parties, which I don't go to much in these days, but when I do, I enjoy myself, talk to girls, get phone numbers, that kind of thing. But there's no specific schedule per se.
Right on. And yeah, because that's a thing, with girls at the workplace, right? Is that what you're trying to fiddle around with?
Right. Well, yeah, in the locker room, yeah,
The locker room.
yeah,
You guys have
because
shared locker rooms, or is it you mean the gym?
yeah, well, the locker room because no, that's meaning because at the call center we're not allowed to have like our phones because we like getting our credit card information. So we have
Oh,
like different, right. So there are different companies in one building.
I see.
Right. So, my company is it's a very big floor. I see girls at my company, other companies, all of us share the locker room. So I'm seeing girls and new girls pretty much every day.
Wow. And so a main source of your pickup is this locker room with all these company girls.
Right. And outside, right. Yeah,
Right.
outside in the parking lot and so forth.
In the
Yeah.
parking lot game. We got a master of parking lot game and company locker room game here. Because those are some unique environments to, specialize in pickup. So
Right.
uh right on. So definitely comfort, bouncing, and knowing where to take the girl. And so much of that is, AZD is showing us in Rise of Achilles how that comes from the start, from the approach. And it's really interesting how he's clearly made the distinction between the approach and the open.
Mm.
And and now as we're moving into some latter stages, but he's starting at the beginning. And now he's going into there's different systems that are also true, like Discovery has an Oscar system, and he's like open and then stimulate, or whatever. And so that's just like small chit chat. It doesn't have to go routine to routine to routine with no dialogue in between. That's not even how it happened. Probably Shamir will attest to, like, the routines are like woven in as needed, as eventually you use them as crutches, but then it becomes, you can have a conversation without that. And then when you feel like maybe the energy, you have this thing, this tool that you can pull out. And so we'll get to that. So that's real interesting, Trey. I think that in the Rise of Achilles camp, and bringing that up as a question even, and as you see how he teaches openers and onwards, like I'm real interested in how he's going to break it down, because he's never taught game like this. I've been around for 8 years and I've never seen him just start from the opener. Like, he's tried a couple times. He did a mystery method camp like early 2021. When I came around, he was teaching pickup with Vince Kelvin, but he was always teaching mindset, and Vince would teach pickup. So we were learning his systems. And, especially as you get more lethal with your game, which is kind of an ethical barrier that guys will put on themselves, because ethics, a lot of people, it's unknown to them what their ethics are. But when they're holding themselves back, a lot of times it is their own internal sense of ethics. And that doesn't mean they're right for holding themselves back. It means that they're holding on to some ideas that they know would do damage, and they're holding themselves back for that. That's wrong to hold those ideas. And so if you have some ideas of pickup and seduction that ruins your workplace environment because of what you do in the parking lot and whatever, because at some point it doesn't all depend so much on you, because the chick has her variables too. She could flip out. She has her own problems in life. And even the most calibrated man, like, at some point, so you want to have a really strong reputation there, where even the girls you're talking to, they all like you. The guys, they like you, and you'll always have enemies and haters. But and they're louder. See, that's the thing. The enemies and haters, or the girl that squawks, that cries wolf or whatever, is 10 times louder than your fans. So you got to have 50 times as many fans as haters.
Mm.
And when you're working for other people, that means you really got to work the room. And this is AZD game like this. If ever there was a camp to learn that, that's what this one and the next one, these 2 months, because it's ending in Vegas. So there'll probably be some follow-up after Vegas of, like, kind of, with the wisdom that comes from the experiences there. But I don't know that he'll stay in the pickup mode after that. It's a very real interesting shift. Even the Jesus mode that he was so adamant about, he only stayed in like 2.5 months. So I wouldn't be surprised if the pickup phase ends before Vegas, but we'll still end up going. It'll be real interesting, following the shift. So you're catching it right at the beginning. Today was the second talk. So he's done the first 2 talks on openers. And in the first talk was so powerful, I almost don't even want to give it away. Sound is low, mic is blocked. Man, I'm discovering, I think, because I spilled something on this phone, that maybe the audio is just not good. Maybe that's why the TikTok was really low on this. I'll bet it's something because I spilled something. That's a shame. If I had headphones, I could put the headphones on, but they're in the other room. I just want to do it just to see if it works. So if you'll stay on for just a second, I'm going to grab my headphones and let me know if that changes the volume. 1 second, guys. So if the Bluetooth connects to this, then hopefully yes. So let me know if the volume just kind of went up. And I look funny on this with my AirPods, and I'll probably take one out because it's cooler. Okay, let me know if the volume went up. And I don't know if turning the volume up here. Okay. Let's see. Who else? Who is not on? Or who is on? Anybody that's been on the first 2 lectures of Rise of Achilles? Anybody here? Vote for Solo on Instagram. Let me know if it's better now. Still can't really hear. Oh. Was that already? Did you type that before I got back? Or man, why would that be volume below? Comment, Savory Sandy, how's the volume on your end? I can only hear it when you move the phone. When I move the phone, like when I do this, then you hear the volume of it. That's weird. Because if I don't need to have these headphones in, then I don't want to. Savory Sandy, comment, can you hear the volume there? Sound check. Everybody sound check. There's a bunch of people on. Okay, so none of you are on Rise of Achilles. That's so surprising. Officers here and everything. Good on Zoom. Yeah, Zoom is fine because I got this nice microphone here. And there's even a way I can stream to Instagram from the computer, but right now I'm streaming to the YouTubes. So you got great information, bro. Thanks for sharing. Hey, bro, I'm Yogi Chris. I don't know if we've met. Yeah, she can hear. Okay. I run IMC Nation. So captain of IMC Nation, we have Chris Lopez on. He's the other captain, new captain, junior captain. And so you're communicating with me if you're messaging on this platform, and it's just a bunch of clips of AZD, who I live with. And, guy with all the face tattoos, bald guy, spitting a lot of truth, red pill truth. And so he's top player, man. He's got a lot of wisdom of relationships, communication, and levels of teaching, like what he's doing in the messengers and the business. The thing with these trainings is they're very long-term. Like they're deep change work. If you see the guy and you hear how he talks like hypnotically, but it's not like your normal hypnotherapist, because they don't have to be effective, they do have some deep philosophy, but they're not going to have the kind of philosophy of life and game. It doesn't align. And you would see if any of those hypnotherapists, like if they tried to learn game, they'd have to shift their beliefs. So he is doing change work. That is his communication, as he speaks with imagery and, metaphors and a lot of stories, how vivid they are. They transfer into your mind because of his study of the subject in practice. Like I was telling on the Origins camp just before this. He had a women's fitness center of over 200 women, and he lived with 6 girlfriends for multiple years. Like there's a lot of time clocked interacting with women. And, naturally, he doesn't even have to put effort into deconstructing their mindset, but like naturally understanding of the psychology plus studying the books, learning from other masters, like you can't get a better recipe on earth of somebody that's going to figure this stuff out. So he talks to us, but he's playing the same game as us. So just because his game is so advanced doesn't mean he's using any tools that you don't have. Cali Pack doesn't have, Chris Lopez doesn't have, Giovanni doesn't have, Saber or Trey doesn't have. Yeah, money, but he uses that so little, and everybody deals in the economy that they live in and the people that are around them. Like you're at the socioeconomic place that you can still utilize all the strategies, because he is using the analogy would be he's using the same chessboard that you are. It doesn't have extra pieces. It doesn't have extra colors, extra squares. It's not missing anything. It's the same game. So it can be learned. It starts with the mind, because that's where the actions come from and the communication comes from. And that's what is game? Touch, movement, bouncing, strategy, communication. I don't know why I threw bouncing in, like that was such an important part of game, but I guess it is. Nagging, like it all comes from the mind originally. And so it can be learned even through Zoom. And okay, so I'm surprised nobody's done any Rise of Achilles. Should I go over a note? Maybe I should go over a note. Cali Pack, you don't want to talk? Thought you'd be all about Rise of Achilles. Oh man, this is almost too valuable because I take notes on like really valuable things. So I'll tell you this. The first, man, nobody is on the lectures. That's missing out. I'll tell you this. The first lecture, it goes over video montage and you get a homework assignment, and it's been great for me. And it's really going to affect my pickup, I know. And I need to watch it more. And how to find that montage that will be your state of mind on the approach and the opener so that you're in character. And you'll create different effects. It'll allow you to step back from your mind so you can fiddle with this thing, because what's between you and the woman is your mind and her mind. Your mind is interacting with her mind. And she's the solid biological, semi-solid fluid, whatever biological organism that's carrying this mind of hers that has a bunch of ideas that are not solid. This is AZD teaching. Give me 30 days. Give me 30 days with anything. Change my body, change my mind. So the way he's teaching how to interact with her mind, the stories he's telling. What is, let's see, Shamir. So Shamir, you do pick up in Vegas. And let's see here. Where would I go? Well, what's it like? Let me just start with that. What's it like being in our pickup base in Vegas? I know you're eating.
What it's like being at the base, or what it's like picking up in Vegas?
Well, it is also a pickup minded base. So what are some things that a new person wouldn't understand? Because we're also streaming to Facebook and YouTube right now. For 3 YouTube channels. No, so yeah, 3 YouTube channels and 2 Facebook groups. And they don't have the link to join this. That's why they're not on the Zoom. So yeah, what's it like living in a pickup base, IMC pickup base? And what's it like how you guys do pickup? You know, because I doubt all the other pickup artists in Vegas, I'll bet they're lone wolves. Maybe they have a wingman.
Yeah, they're really bad. I see them every night.
So
I actually
what's
came to
it
a
like
couple-
also? What's it like seeing other pickup coaches in Vegas, and what are they like?
I'll start with this. You had asked, what would beginners not be able to see, or what would it maybe take them a while to catch on to? Getting rid of the idea of getting laid when you're learning is a big part of it. Because maybe it wouldn't be clear to you at the beginning, but once you start to learn and you start to rehearse, you'll see that really what you're learning is a system of, I want to call it micro calibration, because that's what Mystery called it. But really, that's ultimately what the skill set is all these routines and everything that we learn and we teach is just to facilitate that process of you learning how to micro calibrate with your words and your body, to eventually get to the end goal of pickup is sex. Everything AZD teaches is beyond that.
Yeah, what I'm hearing, what you're saying, you know, when people come to pickup, they're definitely looking at sex, and they're not seeing that in a proper interaction, which means it feels proper to both people. It feels good. It's there's no deceiving. There is a game being played, but it's so consensual along the way, which seems like that would be obvious. But until people learn game and the proper ways of interacting, then it's like, so when they see sex and they don't see how much needs to happen between not knowing the woman to sex with her, if the interaction is completely proper through to the end. And
Exactly.
so, and then falling in love, falling, you know, seeking that process of how to interact becomes more and more important than the sex. And you see all the little micro calibrations because there's so many, like you were saying, something like that. So I was basically saying, you know, when I climb mountains, which I haven't done in a while, but big mountains, they look a lot closer than they are. You start walking towards them and they're like, man, this thing is way farther than I thought. And so it's kind of like that. Like picking up girls and getting good at the methodology of it, understanding throughout thoroughly so that it's reproducible and you're not just, getting drunk and you changed your shirt. You got a good shirt and got a haircut and you think you got better at pickup or whatever. So that's what I'm hearing you say. That living in Vegas has been learning that lesson.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect analogy, what you said about the mountain. And the thing is, I mean, most people in their life aren't going to take the time to look at it that way because of whatever resistance that they have. They feel like it's something about learning how to pick up girls or learning social dynamics. There's like I don't know, I guess there's like a taboo in their mind about that. Again, I mean, like the sex with a girl is very much a byproduct of you learning tight game. And the thing what I see with other pickup artists in Vegas, if I could even call them pickup artists, because I mean, look, I consider myself fortunate that I didn't go down the RSD route.
Oh,
right. Because those are the kinds of guys that I see in the nightclub, aside from me and Eros, that are talking to girls, is the guys that studied RSD shit. And what I see in them is that they don't know how to interact with men.
Right.
They barely know how to interact with women. But whenever you get in conversation with them, there's a tension about them, there's an awkwardness. And then when you see how they are in their game, like granted, what they do is, you could say it's ballsy, but that's really the most you could say about it. Because there's no finesse, there's no technique. And that's what drew me to learning mystery method over any other type of pickup, is that finesse that's required to be successful at it.
Right on. So, man. Yeah. So what would you say, a man that's learned so much living in Vegas and living at a pickup base, IMC pickup coach, Eros, what do you see? What do you want to learn from AZD? After all these years, you've lived with AZD a month and a half, you've lived in bases for 2 years, you're a guardian, you're at rank, you live with the IMC head pickup coach. What do you still want to learn from AZD? Why do you need this at all?
The way I see it, you're still talking to me, right?
Yeah. No,
the way I see it is, I mean, what I want to learn from AZD and why I continue to study AZD is the quality of living and the quality of communication that he has, and that I see that he spreads into everybody else very quickly, right? It's impossible to be around somebody like AZD and not get better, because the standards of living are so high. So really, once you get around, like, sure, initially what draws you to AZD is you see that he was a successful pickup artist and he got all these women. At least that's what drew me to him initially. But what keeps you around is, well, the camaraderie that comes with the tribe, the understanding of ethics and how you can apply these different teachings just to make your quality of life better from like a personal standpoint. And then when you come into the tribe and you get to practice all these different communication, I guess, techniques and these mindsets that shift all through these different months of teachings, it's just like a whirlwind of transformation, I guess you could say. I know I'm using a lot of words that I hope they're making sense in the sequence that I'm using them.
Sort of. I mean, it would be weird if they were like in reverse sequence or something, or somehow out of order.
Yeah, totally.
Very hard to understand. But what I'm getting is there's definitely an enrichment of the experience. And yeah, I get it.
Yeah, totally. I mean, like, there's people who say come to Eros live or come to our live. And I see that the way that they talk shows me that they haven't they're putting this before AZD stuff, and that really doesn't make sense.
Why not? Why doesn't that make sense to you?
Because I mean, without the core of what AZD is doing, like all this pickup stuff is bullshit. Like unless you just want to
Why
like
is
fuck
that?
a couple girls.
Why is
Maybe
it?
that's the goal. Maybe that's the goal. Is they just want to fuck a couple girls and have consistent. We call them sex slaves here in baseball, but that's just our terminology for the rest of their life.
Sex, you said? Doesn't sound so bad.
Yeah, maybe it
Unless they
doesn't.
just want to have sex with a few girls and have consistent sex. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but again, I mean, and then you come around AZD and you see that there's a next level to this shit. There's
What
a
is
quality
that?
of life that you're missing.
A quality of life that you're missing. What are they missing?
Yeah, I know that's vague. I'm trying to
You-
find better words. to put on.
Yeah, I know. These are hard questions.
Yeah, totally. It reminds me of that camp a few camps ago where AZD was asking all the hard questions.
Yeah, but I'm not trying to ask hard questions. I just really want to know because you're saying that there's a quality of life that people would be missing. The pickup artist, the guy that's pursuing pussy and is going to get good eventually and get a consistent stream of pussy for himself. But there's a quality of life that's like, what does that mean?
Okay, I'm going to use the words that I heard Master Myself say recently. Shout out Master Myself.
Shout out, Master Myself.
Is the mindset of a master is what you develop going through AZD's process and staying consistent with his teaching. So when you then come to learn something like pickup or a martial art or any skill set, you approach it from a different state of being and you're going to excel a lot quicker in whatever that skill set is that you're trying to learn. And that comes with, what was that?
Sorry, I didn't want to cut you off. Actually, I thought that was the end of your sentence.
No, it was.
It dropped. No.
I forgot what I was.
Oh, man. Okay, I want to offer you something that I just wanted to be important. That was my ego talking. Now I don't even want to say it because I was like, I was interjecting myself like that. Okay, so AZD said this thing very similar to what you were saying. What you said, Master Myself said, of you learn the mindset of a master. Yes. AZD said today in one of the later meetings that you learn how to be the best and fuck the rest. Very, very similar phrase.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so people can just get that on the morning program. They don't need the advanced camps. That's the same. Advanced camps are the same. Anyway.
They're definitely not. They're definitely not the same.
Yeah.
I mean, you definitely get something from the morning class. It's
Hell yeah.
worth a lot more than the 97 that you pay. But again, there's a next level to it. When you really integrate into the tribe and you let go of external influences like your parents and whatever bullshit friends you have. Your friends could even be high value people, but they're weak as fuck compared to IMC guys.
Why is that? What do you mean? Like weak in what way?
In the way that they go about their day and the habits that they have, their willingness to drop communication and be just bad at communication without even really realizing it just because they don't have the awareness. It's a lack of awareness really more than anything.
Lack of awareness and they're irresponsible communicators.
Absolutely. So yeah, when you then come to advanced camps, when you go to live camps and you're sitting in a room full of people all in the same trance, you could say, that AZD is creating, then you really see the power of this shit. And you see, once you see that rapid transformation within yourself and the people around you, and it shows quickly where right after lecture, you guys go out, you go eat something or whatever. And all of a sudden you realize everybody's communicating very differently, just based off that lecture that we all sat there, you know, that you can't live the same after that.
No, it's very, very karmic. You know, that snowballs into all kinds of positive effects from now until eternity, unless you forget it. It's kind of like I was saying on the TikTok or whatever, that girls, after they've been with a real IMC man that knows how to handle any kind of multiple relationship objection, it's going to be next to impossible for them to date anybody else. Definitely not seriously. Because once the girl knows something about male psychology and what all men desire and what their body language really means and this and that, like she can't unlearn that. She has to get amnesia. She has to drink herself dumb or totally switch personalities, because it's very difficult to live in the world of men as a woman, pretty woman, knowing what all men are really thinking and what their gestures really mean. And somehow that was related to what you were saying about, oh, the IMC tech. Yeah, when you change your communication, it's very difficult not to benefit from it. You'd have to forget it, which guys do when they leave. And you know why guys leave. We have a very, very high retention rate. So you know, like I said, I'm in an echo chamber of IMC. It's been a long time since I've worked with any other organizations, but I do know that we get people from other organizations. And I guess the people that leave us go to other organizations too. So whatever, but super high retention rate, very loyal class, a lot of attendance, very high attending classes. So let's see, what else? We got Giovanni, Saber, Obed. What do you guys think about Rise of Achilles? What do you think about this event? I talked with Trey. Chris Lopez is captain, so he knows all about it. Calipac and I are not on speaking terms. He only indirectly types to me. I offended him. I felt kind of bad, but then I realized that was being emotional, so I don't feel bad. Obed Giovanni's been shy all day. He was on officers meeting, actually. Very shy guy. I was recalling to Saber on the Origins lecture, all of the guys that live in the bases, 30 or so guys, 27 of them are original Beast Phase 1. The only ones who weren't was Giovanni, Newberry, and Eros, actually. Everybody else is Beast Phase 1, if you think about it. That's pretty cool. 27 out of 30, that's not an anomaly. That's not a statistical randomness. So, you know, that was just a series of events, a series of technology, mental tech that is put into action and made those guys very capable of living with each other. Because there were only 45 or so original beasts from the Lion's Den that got their beads, and 27 of them based up. That's a really high ratio, considering all the other camps that have been done, all the other people that have come through IMC. So the Beast Phase 1 clearly made people capable of living with each other as guys, which is a whole new evolution. Like I was telling Captain Chris Lopez, when you get multiple relationships, first, I mean, there's so many levels, because you'll have multiple girls before you have multiple relationships. And you'll have one girl with a lot of side girls before you have two girls with side girls. You'll get two girls and all other girls will cut off before you get two girls with side girls. Like there's just there's layers to this. But when you start having multiple relationships, you'll see that there are some ways that you communicate to handle her that they slide when you're in the one-on-one dynamic, but not the 2-on-1, the 3-on-1, whatever. And so you start calibrating. It's little nuances. It's the line, the space in between the lines. It's the sound in between. It's the silence in between the sounds that makes the music or, makes the speech. So it's little things like that. It's not like right now, it's not necessarily changing my vocabulary. It's little aspects. So supposedly little. They're subtle aspects of my rhythm, my pitch, my volume. Little tweaks. So it's like that. When you're in multiple relationships, it's little tweaks of how you handle the woman that makes it possible to have multiple relationships. So when you live in a base with other guys, there are going to need to be tweaks of your personality and character. And it doesn't make you weaker. You get stronger. You get stronger as an individual, and when you're aligned with other men in the base and you move as a unit, you're way stronger, way stronger. And then your whole personality and your personal persona, your persona, your demeanor, it calibrates to more power. Imagine you put on 100 pounds of muscle. Anybody here experienced ever putting on 100 pounds of muscle? Chris Lopez, how much muscle you put on?
I don't know. I know it's not all muscle, but I put on about 40 pounds.
40 pounds at least. That's a lot of meat. You know, you move around with more power and people respect your power more. You get treated with more power, and then your personality gets more and more calibrated to a bigger power level. Your communication, your dynamic with your women gets calibrated to a different level of power. And if you lived in a base and there were other guys that were, you know, you had the ingredients, you had the moving as a unit, the coordination, the coordinated strength, you'd have more power. It'll be even more. And then your personality calibrates to that. You know, as we all get fight training from AZD, which is what I was telling Giovanni earlier, it was like, if you live here, you have a really great opportunity to train with world-class martial arts. And when it comes to street self-defense, very relevant to game, more than Taekwondo or Jiu-Jitsu would be. Very relevant, super relevant. It's so relevant, it is it. Your game becomes it. And you're in the with the foremost instructor in the world. You should check in. If you're a guardian, you should check in if you're not going to be making it, because your attendance is all but expected. You know what I'm saying? Learn to value yourself as you are, as much as you are valued. At least you're valued. So treat yourself like that. Don't fall out of communication. That's whack. Okay. Who else were we talking to? Not talking to. People shy. It's funny when guys are shy. Shy guys. Let's see. We got wise guys, we got shy guys. Okay, is there more that needs to be said? Rise of Achilles. So that video montage is really great homework, the way he explains it and demonstrates it. And I've already found one really good character for myself. I want to find another one so I can kind of play them off each other. A little bit about me. And let's see. I almost want to share it. If anybody wants to see it, raise your hand. Okay. The Chris Lopez doesn't count though. Captain. Okay, all right. But you got to sign up. Let's see. So I'm going to share screen right now. So never mind anything in the background here. Okay. So let's go here. Let's look at, what is this? YouTube. I hope you guys can hear the volume when I play it. So this is, let me make sure I'm logging the right channel. Yeah. What is it? Johnny Wid. Okay, let's look at this one. It won't play with the microphone tapped in. Hold on. Tapped in. Let's see. Let's test speaker. Yes. Okay. So let's try now. All right, I'm gonna unplug the mic just to play this.
Someone's been telling you
Oh. So if you don't know the movie, then
I'll have you and your girlfriends. I'll do no harm to yes. Do I not look like a fire? 6 foot down the bar. Go on, jog on, walk on. Goodbye, bon voyage.
fuck on. That's what he says. So he just took down those 3 guys in a bar, intimidated them with a pencil. He's a junkie, though.
Shrouded and tied, just days. What is it today? The rack?
And this Archie guy is like kind of the right-hand man to the mob boss. So he's busting his balls, but only he can, because he's the son of the mob boss, the stepson.
Has that old clown been working you long hours? You always were loyal. No dog like a loyal dog.
No dog like a loyal dog.
What does that tell you? It tells you that dead people don't like company. Now jog 'em on. All right. I told them to leave. Yes, you fucking well will. Smelly junkies. Meeting adjourned.
Meeting adjourned.
Shut your mouth. Look at him, boys. Hairy, ain't he? And that's what 4 years inside does to a man. It eats away at his soul. And when it's all gone, it makes a man quite scary. Right, informed, don't you? So who we got in there? Anyone I know? Anyone famous? Handsome Bob. Mumbles. 1, 2. I bet you could operate a nice gash gallop. I could see you with a couple of S's on your collar. Stiff goose in your step. That's it, you'll get hurt.
We'll get hurt.
Mickey. It's the famous slap. Oh, the arch. Little.
Like a Joker type character.
Looks like that clinic sorted you right out, Johnny. Feeling better?
Well, I was.
So anyway, I'm not gonna reveal the end of it. It's personal to me, so you may not get it. Doesn't matter. All right, gotta turn. Okay, cool. So, just how to use the character in your living, and this game is designed for multiple women. So, like, I was just going through it with 2 of my girls. But me going through it means they're going through it, and I'm over here wondering if they're going to make it to the other side, because I'm not in it like they're in it. And it looks like they're both making it to the other side. That's pretty cool. So still 3 girls strong, whatever that means. And, other girl was supposed to come over tonight. Looks like she flaked. I don't know. I haven't checked. It would be this phone. Maybe I have a message. Let's see. No. Doesn't matter. So, more money making then. I like, it's one of those things you push for the girls, but then it's like I really want to Saber that's a rock and roller. But it's like I actually always have something better to do. Like I think, one of my girls having a problem. I hang out with her like about 6 to 6.5 hours a week. And if we weren't together, I would gain 6 to 6.5 hours every week back from my life. How many new women could I get? 6 to 6.5 hours. Let's see if that's 4 1/3 weeks per month. So that's like, 25 hours a month at least, which is, times 12 months, that's 300 hours. Crystal Lopez, you went to the mall and you picked up a number and you opened like 4 sets in like 2 hours. So if you had 300 hours to do pickup, how many girls could you get in your rotation? So, and that's just in a year. So if I wasn't hanging out with this girl for that, I literally always got something better to do, because even if I didn't have a bunch of money to make, I got other girls I could get. And there's always an urgency about, my backup plan, the girl not coming over tonight is way better than her coming over. But I don't want to take myself out of the game by always prioritizing other activities like business activities or whatever, because you actually lose touch with the game, and then you cannot provide for yourself. It's part of that well-rounded life. And now what AZD's done is he's made his money making so related to his women making that they became one. They blended together. It's a very integrated life. And Panjo and his survival street self-defense is part of that, because it is part of the game. Survival value. That is raw survival value, as raw as it's going to get in urban life. Because he's not getting women with his millions of dollars. It's something else. It's character and presence, which has brought him enough money to be able to spend how he does, but it's not that. So, okay, are there any questions before I wrap it up? Any questions about Rise of Achilles event, or, anything related to that? Comments? Guys have been on YouTube this whole time. You must be liking it. I'll post the link here. You guys can check out. It's on early bird. for another 22 hours or so. Real low price. It's just on the homepage, imcbase1.com. Shout out to Zay, who created imcbase1.com. I'll put it here for you guys too. How do you compliment a woman in a corporate environment? Well, you don't want to violate the group. And there's probably other guys that are wanting to get with her and everything. And you don't know exactly what her beliefs and everything about that stuff are. So, I tread gently at corporate environments. But there are things that she wants to be admired for. Well, probably misguided things like her intelligence and how hard she works. But you can literally compliment, but you just want it to be genuine. So, which doesn't need to mean that you necessarily agree with what you're saying. It just needs to come across as genuine. You got to learn how to sound genuine and express genuine so they think you're being genuine. So, what does she want to be admired for? And then, I would definitely stay away from looks. Don't talk about her fashion because you're not a fashion connoisseur. So it's like, maybe occasionally there's something like that's a dope necklace or something. But you don't want to make comments that she's just going to say thank you. So you start weeding those out. You just don't want to be like, nice this, nice that. She's like, thank you, thank you. Oh, you look great today. Thank you, thank you. Oh, good job on that thing. Thank you. Like, if her response is thank you, unless it's like, wow, thank you. Unless it's like that, like heartfelt thank you, which most of them aren't, then it wasn't a good compliment. So reserve your compliments until she's earned it. And you'll know that it would be like complimenting a friend. Like, how would you compliment me? How would you compliment any of these guys that you've interacted with or that you know something about? You know that you couldn't do it too shallow and too vaguely, like if you wanted it to be well received, So how would you genuinely compliment me? It would have to be like, or how would you create the effect of a compliment? You would have to know something about me and something about my psychology as a man and whatever. And it may be challenging for you. And the more you learn about how to do it with women, you learn about it with men. And the more you learn about it with men, the more you learn about it with women. Because right now you are kind of blending the two unknowingly. That's what people do. People that were raised in the world and the culture, you're missing the differences between men and women and you're not doing it right. AZD is at the cutting edge, man. And the more you study from them, the more you know. And the less mistakes you'll make, which means the less errors in the future you'll have to amend. Or you'll keep running from your life and go on vacations always and change environments a lot. And then you don't have to face the consequences of your lifestyle game. But this is a very highly evolved, wise lifestyle philosophy, living philosophy. So he's breaking down his game philosophy like never before. In 8 years, I've never seen him do this. Rise of Achilles, early bird, imcbase1.com until 6 p.m. tomorrow.